Hello, my name is Shirley Self, and I'm here to talk astrology. And today I wanted to introduce you to a really interesting moon phase 6. Let's review moon phase 6. Here it is toward the end of the Earth quarter. It is one of the rectangle of extremists. The will here has spent time discovering and exploring those new potentials that have been given to the will in at the new cycle at moon phase 1. And so 6 is just trying to find a niche in the world for these new talents. And the thing about 6 and 20 and 10 and 24 isn't there isn't much in their way. They are free to go as far as they want. And for 6 and 20, this can prove to be too far, because 6 and 20 can just push right through paradise off into hell. And you see that, for instance, with Rudy Giuliani, who is a moon phase 6. It's interesting that moon phase 6s that have flocked to the Republican Party recently. The Republican Party is a moon phase 20. And so remember that okay, the mask for 6 is moon phase 20. And the will needs to utilize the mask in order to achieve success. And so all these 6s are finding their niches riding on the coattails of the Republican Party. The problem that 6 and 20, specifically much more than 10 and 24, they go too far. They'll scoot right through paradise off into hell, and you see that in, for instance, watching Rudy Giuliani. It was sad to watch the America's mayor virtually go to hell. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so this is the mask of 6. 20 is the judge, the lawgiver. It is a realist. It's powerful moon phase. It follows moon phase 18 and 19, which have done the transition that allows them to utilize their personal power out in the public. And you'll find phase 19s are incredibly powerful people. Phase 18s tend to be incredibly sad people, because what 18 has to do is to give up all its ideals in order to work out in the world the way the world is. So, and the United States is a moon phase 18, and so is Vladimir Putin. 20 is the judge, the lawgiver, a realist. The creative genius for moon phase 6 is a moon phase 24, the craftsman. Remember, the creative genius is the spiritual inspiration and the spiritual goal. So this, the craftsman is self-reliant, into self-mastery. And all of them have, at least 10 and 24, tend to have uncompromising standards. 6 and 20 are supposed to have uncompromising standards, and that will help them to know when they've gone too far. That is something that they need to learn, because what they're here to do is to push the boundaries, to increase freedom. Those places where people are unfree, bound, enclosed, not allowed. 6 and 20 are to open the doors, enlarge the field, and so their job is to push, and the other job is to learn when to quit, then learn where the line is, and they have to 6 has to pay attention to certain moral standards. Well, so does 20. The moral standards are the mask of the politicians up here in the air quarter. Well, anyway, that's a kind of an introduction to Moon Phase 6. They are the rectangle of power, are people who are independent and virtually busting away from other people's expectations, those limitations of others' expectations. So here we have a Moon Phase 6. This is Alexei Navalny. I do not have a time for him, so what we have here is the solar chart. He was born on the 4th of June in 1976 in Moscow. He recently was featured in the New Yorker. This is the October 21st, 2024, and it has excerpts from his prison diary. Remember who Navalny is he's was the determined foe of Vladimir Putin, and he fought to the death. I admire him greatly. Putin had him poisoned, and he went, I don't know where he went, Germany or England. Somebody put him in the hospital and healed him up after he was poisoned. And what did he do? He went back home to Russia, to prison. Well, let's look at Navalny here. The whole thing here is led by Chiron, and I think that's exceedingly interesting, because what Navalny was, he was a warrior, and he was his goal was to heal the wound of his country. This wound is ruled. This wounded Chiron here, the leading. Well, it's an asteroid. It's not a planet, but it is a mission. It is a goal. It is a necessity. Remember where Chiron is in your chart. It's where you need to approach. It is the door to your hero's journey, to your mission in life, your success in life. So we have the south node here. We have Chiron at 1 Taurus, the south node at 12, Jupiter at 16 Taurus, Mercury at 25 Taurus, and this is at 25 Taurus is close to Algol, the fixed star of losing one's head. This here is Pallas Athena, and it's interesting to me that the Pallas Athena, the heroine, the warrior princess who sprang out of the head of Zeus being Jupiter, and so she is a fighter for justice. This is Vesta, the sacred duty, sacred obligation. His Venus here is at 10 Gemini. His Sun is at 14 Gemini. This is Ceres, which I don't know much about. I know she has to do with nourishment and the mother's duty of to nourish. The Saturn here at 29 Cancer is what they call an anaretic degree, and it is in its detriment. Mars is in Leo, and the moon is also in Leo at 25 degrees, about 25 degrees. Remember, with a solar chart, the moon is gonna move, and you don't know exactly where it is. So you just have to read it as it comes up in the solar chart. And it works well. And this is Juno in Virgo. Juno having to do with relationships. And you look at her and the aspects she makes, and you can know a lot about how the person deals with relationships. We have Pluto here in Libra. Uranus is exalted in, although it's retrograde, in Scorpio. The North Node is in Scorpio. And Neptune is at 13 Sagittarius retrograde in opposition to this Venus and the Sun. When you're Venus here is the what they call the practical director. She is she whatever is leading the Sun gives you an awful lot of clues, information about what the motivation is for this Sun, this will, what the motivation is. And when you've got Venus ahead of the Sun, you've got Venus Aurora. And Venus Aurora, I was interested to discover that I think the Mayan people, look up Bruce Schofield. He did an awful lot of Mayan astrology, and I found it most interesting. Anyway, the Mayan people called Venus the Wasp Star, as in she's very martial. And that Wasp Star Venus is motivating Alexei Navalny to fight Putin for the soul of his country. To quote Navalny, there should be some people in Russia who don't lie to them. And so he was born to be one of those people who don't lie to the Russian people. You'll see truth right here. Truth has to do with Sagittarius. Now remember, it's your belief system and your biases that screw with the truth. So the truth is important to Sagittarius, because a lot of what Sagittarius is about is trying to find out the truth. And it is opposing this Sun and Venus in Gemini, right across the line, the ascendant-descendant line. You could say that I think Navalny knew that he was going to fight to the death. And I think that Neptune there gave him the strength and the knowledge to go on. Remember, the 6 and 20, they push the envelope. They push and they push and they push. And he pushed it until Putin finally eliminated him. His solar midheaven here is in Aquarius. And so that it has an awful lot to do with his view of the government and his view of his place in the government. And the view of his place in the government was this Uranus in Scorpio, retrograde, squaring the midheaven. And so his job was to take down the government, to change the government. Ruled by Mars in Leo. It was his job to change the government. The Saturn, which rules the midheaven, is, like I say, at the anaretic degree. And if you'll notice, it rules the house of death, the belief system, the government, and the people. And so I think he always knew that he was not going to come out on top here, but he would do what he could. You can say that the Saturn down here on the IC is a sign, in considering what terrible detriment it is, the anaretic degree and in detriment, and It's a bad parent. It rules the parent. It's a bad parent, a bad father, right down there. Okay, this Venus, that the wasp star that leads the sun here, is out of bounds. It is in for a moon phase that defies limits. This Venus, the wasp star that is leading the sun, is gonna go all the way. Gonna go all the way. She rules she rules Pluto and is trying to Pluto. So there is no compromise here. No compromise. She rules and is semisextile to the Jupiter South Node in Taurus here. And that gives her strong spiritual values. She rules this Taurus business Chiron, the South Node, Jupiter, and the Mercury, and the Pallas Athena. It's all under the control of this Venus in Gemini. And understand that Venus in Gemini in some systems is rules Gemini in the, what they call it, the hidden system. My words have gone. That word's gone right now. It'll come back later when it's no longer important. This Venus is in mutual reception to the Mercury. This is an empowerment right there, both for the Mercury and for the Venus, because what you can do is you can take this Mercury and you can move this into Gemini at 25 degrees and work with whatever aspects come up with that. Or you can take this Venus and you can put that at 10 degrees up here in Taurus, which puts it right there on the South Node. And so you can play with this. The mutual reception gives you tremendous amount of versatility. And versatility is one of the hallmarks of Moon Phase 20. The mask. This is the mask, remember, is opposite the ascendant. Now here we do not know exactly what rules the mask, because it isn't what's opposite the sun that is the mask. It is what is opposite the ascendant. And so in order to pin down the mask and the creative genius and the body of fate, you have to have a timed chart. But even without that time chart, you can get so much from a solar chart that don't be discouraged if that's all you've got. It's more information than you can probably use. This Venus is conjunct Aldebaran, which is a fixed star that gives one integrity, among other things. The Chiron leads, and remember the Chiron opens the door to the hero's journey. And Chiron, remember, what Chiron does is it moves from inside the orbit of Saturn, it moves to the orbit of Uranus. And what its function does is that Saturn, when Chiron is over in Saturn's orbit, that things are turning to cement. Everything is getting too stiff and too narrow and too focused. And when your Chiron is in the orbit of Uranus, which is where it is right now, you've got chaos. So you look at your Chiron and think about, okay, if the Chiron is in Aries, that is when it's over at the orbit of Uranus. When the Chiron is in Libra, it is over in the orbit of Saturn. And so you can tell whether your own Chiron is moving from Saturn or from chaos to order or from order to chaos by where it is. And this Chiron is in Taurus. So that means that that Chiron was moving from chaos to order. From chaos to order. This Chiron is opposing this Uranus. And that really gives him carte blanche to be as himself, as peculiar as he wants to be. It is useful for him to be uncompromising. And he was. He's got this, also got Chiron square Saturn, which Robin Williams had that. And what Robin Williams labeled that was reality is a crutch. And it is that this reality, you cannot count on it to be consistent. Because remember, his Chiron is moving from chaos to order. It ain't got there yet. And the Chiron is also in aspect to it's in aspect to it's 135 degrees. That's what I'm trying to think. I can't think of the name of the damn thing. But it's a division by 8. It's a square, and what it does is it seems to require self-sacrifice. It seems to require sacrifice, as this guy knew that he was going to sacrifice himself, that his sacrifice was going to go unto death. The North Node, conjunct Uranus. Well, it isn't conjunct, but it's there. The Neptune is in the degree of the nodes, and that makes that Neptune, that sacrifice, muy important. So he's got 5 fixed planets. Now that helps you to have a strong belief in yourself, in a strong feeling of the rightness of what you're doing. And that's one of the things I like about a Leo. Leo just feels that it is what it's doing is right. It has the mandate. It has the power. And that get tremendous inner assurance. Also made him stubborn. And so all of that, well, yeah, all the fixed signs are stubborn. Yeah. Now, Navalny, I looked at his horoscope in terms of Russia's horoscope, the country he loved, and martyred himself for. And his Mars was conjunct Russia's Chiron, which is on Russia's ascendant. And just a little aside, if you want to know the horoscope of Russia, it is a moon phase 3, steeped in sorrow. Navalny's Uranus is conjunct Russia's Venus. His North Node is conjunct Russia's Pluto. His Neptune is conjunct Russia's Mercury and Sun. As far as Putin goes, and Putin took Navalny personal, I think, and one of the reasons why might be that Navalny's Pluto was conjunct Pluto's Sun. Navalny's Jupiter was also conjunct Putin's Jupiter. His north node was conjunct Pluto's Venus, and his Uranus was conjunct Putin's ascendant. So it was all set up for Pluto to take this man personally. And he, after he was poisoned, Putin poisoned him, and I can't remember whether he went to hospital in Germany or England. But anyway, he was healed, and the minute he was healed, he went back to Russia, and knowing that he was going back to his death. And he's a Gemini. Now, if you should read that, those excerpts from his diary in the New Yorker. Let me show you that one again. It's I just find him beautiful. He's just a beautiful man. His diary is, considering what he was a Gemini, and considering what he was going through, he takes it all very lightly. He does not wail and moan the sorrows and his pain. He takes it all very lightly. He is, I admire him. I even, before I knew his full story, I admired him. And bless his soul. And I think he did good work. And he certainly was an extraordinarily interesting example of a moon phase 6. Okay, I wanted to show you the book that I'm kind of talking out of and about, has been published. It's been out for, a year, almost 2. And here's where you can get it. Now, I know that you can get it on Amazon, but Amazon doesn't have this. Now, if you go to this website, you can order the book, and you can download the spinner. Now, finding out somebody's moon phase, I'm getting better at it. I've been only doing it for, I forget how many years, but anyway, I made mistakes, like in the book. Barack Obama's moon phase is not 25. Now, I must admit that I had wished it was a 25, but Obama is a 23. He is a technician, not a revolutionary. And so I recommend the spinner. I use it all the time. And what you have to, the instructions are simple. You have to get online or in some way find out where your sun is on the day you were born and where the moon is, preferably at the time you were born. But if not, the day is going to give you close enough. And if you pay attention to your the moon phases, or say I don't know whether you're a 6 or a 7, you can kind of figure it out by just reading the book and saying, oh, I resonate so much more with a 6 than I do a 7. So anyway, I recommend the spinner. You download it, cut it out, and put it together, and I wouldn't be without it. And that's the wonderful thing about this website. And the emergent education people are exceedingly interesting. When you get there, you'll find other books that I found of interest. And that's what I have to give you today. I hope you're well. I'm recovering. It's starting to feel like spring. The snow's getting really, really wet. And that makes me happy and give me something to look forward to. And here's my advice. Times are tough. We need all the good vibes we can get. So if you appreciate people, tell them. If you love people, tell them. It makes a huge difference. I pray you're well. Bye-bye.